You're 18 in a barracks that smells of sun-baked mud, rancid oil, and the dry, stinging dust of the eastern desert. The air is thick with the scent of unwashed wool and the metallic tang of bronze being sharpened on whetstone. You're standing in a row of 100 other men, all with shorn heads and skin baked to the color of dark clay. Your feet are bare on the packed earth, and the silence of the temple guards outside is heavier than any shout. Beyond the gates, the Nile is a ribbon of life, but in here, the shadows are long and cold. You remember the smell of your mother's kitchen, freshly baked emmer bread, crushed garlic, and the sweetness of dates drying on the roof. You remember the cooling mud between your toes during the inundation. You remember being a son of the soil. Now, you watch the standard bearer at the front. He is a man made of scars and silence. He does not look at your face. He looks at your arms. He looks at the strength in your back. He looks at your willingness to disappear. The men around you are whispering in the dark, but the words are hollow. They talk about the copper mines of Sinai. They talk about the Nubian frontier. They talk about the years of sand that will fill their lungs. You say nothing. You stare at the linen kilt of the man in front of you. You feel a massive, ancient machine moving toward you, a weight of stone and decree that you cannot see, but can already feel crushing the breath from your lungs. You're 5. And your world is the length of your father's furrow in the black silt. He is a man of the river. He wakes before the ibis flies, drinks beer from a clay jar, and spends his life bowing to the grain. His hands are stained with the mud of the delta and smell of the earth. You follow him through the reeds, trying to match his rhythm as he casts the seed. The village is a circle of seasons, the rising water, the planting, the harvest, the tax to the granary. It is safe. It is eternal. At 8, you were given your first task. You must carry the water skin to the men in the fields. On the way, you pass the white limestone walls of the regional fort. You see the Medjai standing at the pylons. They wear stiffened linen vests and hold spears that catch the sun like fire. They do not speak to the peasants. They stare at the horizon with eyes that have seen the edge of the world. You ask your father who they are. He does not stop his work. Those men belong to the great house, he says. His voice is a low murmur. He doesn't say why they never smile. At 10, you hear the elders talking about the Levy. They use vague language. They call it the king's work or the long march. When a veteran returns to the village, he sits by the river and watches the water flow for hours. He does not tell stories of gold or glory. He looks at his hands, missing fingers from the mines or the battlefield. Your mother shields you, pulling you away from his gaze, whispering to the gods. But the air feels different now. The river feels colder. You're 18 and the scribe arrives. He carries a pallet of reed pens and a roll of papyrus that contains your fate. There is no negotiation.
Please, I beg you, show mercy. No. But why?
Your father turns his back to the sun. Your mother prepares a final loaf of bread that tastes like ash. The debt of your existence to the Pharaoh is a silent shadow in the room. Your family has no copper to buy you out of it, no favor with the temple. You are the tithe the village pays to the divine order. The next morning, you are marched into the sun with 20 others. The air smells of dry papyrus and the sweat of fear. You are processed through the mud brick corridors of the garrison. You were assigned a squad. You were cataloged by the strength of your grip. You were moved from the green banks of the river to the red waste of the plateau. By the time the Great Pyramid arises on the horizon, a white mountain of forced labor and geometry, you've learned two things. Your life is a grain of sand in the Pharaoh's hourglass, and the gods do not hear the prayers of a foot soldier. Your childhood doesn't end with a festival. It ends with a bronze collar being measured for your neck. The first thing they take is your name. You are no longer the son of your father. You are a follower of the standard. They take your linen and give you a stiff, coarse wrap that smells of the previous owner's blood. Your body is forced into the geometry of the phalanx. You learn to hold a shield until your arm goes numb. You learn to march through the burning sand until your soles are leather. You were trained by officers who were hollowed-out husks of men, their skin toughened by the whip and the sun. Top to bottom, general of the chariots, standard-bearer, scribe of the army, commander of 50. But none of that matters, because the real rule is the weight of the sun. The man 1 year ahead of you is your master, because he knows how to find water in the rocks. The man 2 years ahead of you is a ghost, because he has forgotten the smell of the river. You belong to the crown. You belong to the stone. You belong to the afterlife of a king you will never meet. It is the 2nd hour of the night in your 6th month. You are standing watch at the edge of a mining camp in the Sinai. The stars are cold and distant. Your commander, a man with a face like a cracked desert floor, approaches you. He orders you to hold a block of granite above your head until the moon crosses the peak. The act is senseless. It is a ritual of breaking. Your spine feels like it's being ground into powder. Your vision fills with the gold and blue of the temple paintings you saw as a child. You are no longer a man. You are a pillar. There is no shouting, only the sound of the wind through the canyons and the sound of your own heart hammering against your ribs. When you collapse, he looks at you as if you were a broken tool. The next morning, you are expected to haul water for the oxen with the same mechanical devotion. It continues. You learn the silence of the desert. You learn to eat bread filled with grit that cracks your teeth. You learn the sound of a chariot wheel in the distance, a sound that means more work or more death. You learn how to sleep while standing, your mind retreating into the darkness of a tomb. You learn that survival is not about courage, it is about becoming as still as the stone you carry. For a year, you exist in a blur of heat and thirst. You were told that if you survive the campaign, you might be given a small plot of land by the river, a false hope that keeps you marching. You file the reports, you clean the bronze, you follow the decree. Then a border skirmish you had nothing to do with results in your unit being sent deeper into the south for another 2 years. The hope is buried in the sand. The system does not mourn. The room goes quiet. The physical decay is permanent. Your joints are filled with the fine sand of the waste. Your eyes are clouded by the glare of the limestone. Your social ties vanish. Your mother's face becomes a blur in your memory. You are socially dead. You are offered the rank of overseer of 10, which only means you must now whip the boys who look exactly like you used to look. You had a girl in the village. She is gone. She is married to the scribe's son. You hear this while eating a ration of dried fish. You feel nothing. The room goes quiet. Years pass. You are the veteran now. You watch the new boys arrive with their soft hands and their dreams of glory. You see the fear, and you offer no comfort. You do not want to know their names. You have become the stone. You speak in the bark of the overseer. You realize the boy from the river is a ghost, and the ghost has stopped haunting you. Dread is the only thing that remains. The trap is the Nile itself. You cannot run, for the desert will swallow you, and the river belongs to the king. The financial trap is the ration. You are paid in bread and beer that is gone before the sun sets. You are a prisoner of the geography and the gods. Normally, they assume you still dream of the afterlife. They don't know the sand has filled your soul. Survival is never dramatic. It is patient. You're 26 now. Your skin is leather. Your back is a map of the Levy. You are released, but you have no home to return to. You sit by the docks in Thebes, watching the grain ships. The noise of the city is a physical blow. You find work as a guard for a merchant, standing in the sun, watching over jars of wine you will never taste. Sometimes at dusk, when the light turns the Nile to silver, you think of the mint and the shadow of your father. That world is underwater. Your reality is a spear and a white wall, and that has to be enough.